kind of came up with this idea because I was looking for something personally, and so I was like, well, I know this person. I knew that Michael Estes, who is the coordinator for student affairs, had a Nike Fuel. I knew that Amanda Behill, who's the administrative manager for interdisciplinary health science, had a Fitbit, and I knew that Ricky Nessel had just gotten a Jawbone 9. So I was like, who works in residential admissions for the university. So I was like, wow, I'm sure there's other people out there that would like to buy a personal fitness device. I wonder what they're doing. So I asked the three of them to get together and present today the pros and cons of each one of their things, how they use it, and go through there. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you three. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. I'm going to go first. And as she said, my name is Ricky, and I'm going to talk about Up. So, why Up? And you'll see this for a lot of ours, but essentially what the Up does is it tracks your distance. You just wear it on your wrist here. There's 8 different colors it comes in. They also come in different sizes. But you can track your distance, your calories burned, as well as consumed. So you can do food tracking, the amount of active time versus sitting time you're doing, sleep as well. So it monitors your sleep. And then I'll go into a little more in depth later. As I said, it's a wristband. One of the reasons I got it was hopefully to motivate me to get up, move around a little bit more. I sit at my office desk a little bit, and so I wanted to know how much am I moving, seeing if this would help me get out, exercise more, things like that. And one of the Up's big sayings is know yourself better. So with doing this, you can see how you're sleeping, eating, all of those things. So a little bit about syncing in the app. So this is not Bluetooth enabled. So as you can see, it plugs into your phone. It's got a little cap. You just pull the cap off. This plugs right into the top of your phone. It only works at this point, as you can see, for iPhones and Androids. But it is relatively easy to use. You plug it in, it takes a few seconds, and that's what it looks like when you get your sync 100%. So these are 4 different screenshots. At the top, so once you plug it in, it shows you your summary. And so on this day, I didn't sync mine for 3 days. So as you can see, it says today what I moved at that point, the 22nd when I moved and slept, 21st is below that. And then from there, when you're done, you actually set your own goals, how much you want to sleep a day, how many steps you want to take a day. So this screen shows you how close I was to my goal. So 80% of my sleep, which is on the left purple, and on the right orange is your steps. So I had 16% of my steps at this particular time of the day. And then you can see, I don't know if you can see it from there, but to the left of today's little smiley face, and you can actually do mood tracking, so you can put how you felt that day. Then there's sleep tracking. So as you can see, these tall bars that are dark blue are your deep sleep, which is here. The light bars are light sleep, which is here. So I had 4 hours of light sleep, 2.5 of deep sleep. Woke up one time in the middle of the night, which is this bar, and it took me almost an hour to fall asleep, which is right here. So I set it to sleep at that time, and then I stayed up on the computer or whatever, and it knew I was up for almost an hour before I actually fell asleep. And then for here is your step tracker. So you click on 80%, 16%, it gives you the details of what's going on. So I took 1,600 steps, which was 0.8 miles by 9:30 in the morning. I was active for 15 minutes. So this just shows you everything: resting calories, active burned calories, and your total burned calories. Sorry, probably getting people busy. And then in the top left here, so you can log your food and your drinks. And so at the very top is you can pick from your library. So everything I've already plugged into my phone, I just click the library and it's all right there. I don't have to go back and search. You can use a barcode scanner with your phone. You click it, scan the barcodes, which is what I did here for this item, which was a Laura bar. I just scanned the barcode, it knew exactly which one it was, how many calories it is, and you can change your amount by 2 bars. I would just change it to 2 bars, things like that. So it's relatively easy to use. Here you can see different trends, and this is, like I said, all within the app. And so you can actually choose between a bunch of different variables what you want to look at. So there's workout time, distance, calories burned, consumed, sleep, deep sleep, light sleep. There's a lot of different options. And then once you select your 2, so this is distance versus steps. So I picked a good day, so I seemed really awesome. And this was 13,000 steps, and I walked 8.2 miles this day. But you can see not all days are quite as good. This was apparently a football Sunday because I didn't move much. And then they have weeks and months. So you can really look at a bunch of different things, days, weeks, months. So it's really great in getting a general picture as well as specific days. Another really cool thing, I think, is that you get these sort of tailored tips. So it'll just pop up on your screen, you can click it, and it says, quit your chair. You can see I averaged 39 minutes of daily active time last week, and then it lets you know that sitting can be as unhealthy as smoking and leads to health issues. So it does all these different tips tailored to your lifestyle and how you can better your health. You can find your friends, so that's my wife on top, she has one as well. And so we can see each other's activity. You can also choose what people see and don't see, so it's not like you friend someone and see everything. You actually get to choose. But then you can go through and make comments. So if I did a lot of walking one day, she could get on and say, oh, good job. You can send stuff to Facebook or Twitter. And then you get to set your own goals. So I set a daily sleep of 8 hours. You set your own sleep or your own walking goals. And then there's an idle alert. So I have mine set for 45 minutes. So between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., if I'm idle for 45 minutes, this will actually vibrate to remind me you've been sitting for 45 minutes. And it's my sort of reminder to get up, walk around. And then you see smart sleep alarms. So you can set your alarm and this will vibrate and it won't turn off until you push the button. And so that's just a way that you can, without having that loud alarm go off in the morning. And it's called a smart sleep alarm because it wakes you up when you're in your light sleep zone instead of a deep sleep zone. So it has like a 30-minute window that'll wake you up between. And then there's a power nap. So they say the best nap is like 26 and a half minutes. And so it will wake you up in 26 and a half minutes. And everything's set by this button here. The amount of times you push it determines what you're setting it for, whether it's an activity, if you're going for a run, or you're going to sleep, or you want to do a nap, things like that. And then you can see some things like if I go out and cycle or swim or if you do yoga, things like that might not pick up a lot of steps. You can actually do long workout. And there's 3 different pages. You just use your finger to cycle through them. And you put what you were doing, so hiking, weights, whatever it may be, your effort level, start time, and your duration. And it sort of calculates the amount of calories you burn from there. And it's a way for you to track various activities that you do. So just some more details. You charge it with just a USB charger. Once again, you pull the cap off, you stick your headphone jack in the charger, and that will work on a computer. Or I have an iPhone, so some things are kind of iPhone specific, but the iPhone charger you can stick in the USB port in and you can charge it that way. I said waterproof, I meant water resistant, I apologize. But you can shower in this. They say not to swim in it, but you can shower. Like I said, it has the power napping, mood tracking. Battery life lasts for 10 days, so it's not something you have to charge constantly. Like I said, you can share your stats on Twitter and Facebook, multiple sizes. It's $129.99, and it's available online at Jawbone's website and stores Apple, Best Buy, and then AT&T, Verizon, stores like that carry them as well. And that's it for me.
Yes. My name is Amanda Behal, and I'm here to talk about Fitbit. So, why the Fitbit, right? So that's what everyone wants to know. I've had my Fitbit for about 10 months now, which I believe is the longest of us 3. And I'm a heavy researcher, so I wanted to make sure that what I got was exactly what I needed. And the best things I like about it, one, is it's discreet. I can still wear all my bracelets, my watches, anything else, carry bags and stuff, and it sits right here in your pocket. It clips on here, it can go inside your bra, it can clip on your bra, it can sit on either side, and you just adjust the settings on where you put it. So I like it the best is that nobody knows I have it besides now you guys in the room with me. But basically what it does is it tracks your steps. Floor is Prime, which is where we do a lot of our exercise from.
calories burned versus what you take in. It gives you an activity score, so it tells you this is how active you are, and it fluctuates all the time, and also does sleep. This is a really low maintenance device. You charge it once every 15 days. All it does is it comes out and it plugs into your computer, and it is Bluetooth compatible, so as long as I'm within my iPhone, it will automatically sync. So I could go to it right now and see exactly what I've done so far today. So it will tell you I've done 7,816 steps because I went to Zumba, 8 flights of stairs, I've gone 3 miles, and I burned over 1,200 calories. And then it gives you, like, I'll show you a little flower that tells you how active you are. Again, it does sync with Androids and iPhones, and the iPhones it's 4S and above. The pros and cons of it, there are several options. There's this option, the wristband, like the guys are coming out here in the spring. There's one called a Zip, which doesn't track your floors climb, but it's cheaper. You put a battery in it, and you wear it just like how you wear this. It's very easy to read. It tells me like, way to go, Amanda, or keep moving, or a bunch of little inspirational things that it will tell me. And the sleep tracker, you know, they say if you want to get, to make sure that you're sleeping well, you can do the same thing. You can set it, and you just push the button, and it will tell you exactly, just like his, how long it took you to sleep, how long were you in, how long did you sleep at night, how many times did you wake up. And with the band, you set it on your band. When you have this, it comes with like a little wristband that you just stick it in, and that's how it tracks it. The cons about it, it's water resistant but not waterproof. So if you take a shower with this, you gotta put it in rice afterwards. If you wash it, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you drop it in the toilet, that's pretty much what happens to it. It's small and compact, so if you do not take this off of your clothes, it will probably stay on your clothes. I wish there was like a little like vibrating or a beeping noise, so if you forgot to take it off my work pants and I didn't transfer it to something else, then that's definitely a con. What I wish that it did is track strength training. So I could stand here and move and it would count all my steps versus doing this. So when these guys are talking, it's counting this as a step, whether my feet move or not. But it is still being active and still moving. So these are the devices that Fitbit offers. The Fitbit Flex comes out here in the spring, and it says what it's all about. They're all $99.95 minus the Zip, which is $59.99. Like I said, that one is a replaceable battery, not a rechargeable battery. I have the Fitbit one. Like I said, the floor, it pretty much does everything that you need it to do. It's a great little tool, and if you just want to be active and know what you're doing and maybe challenge yourself. So Wednesdays is my high day, and I've gone 7,000 steps. So tomorrow at this time, maybe I'll go a little bit more. And it's a good way to track to see where you're at. And I said it syncs on my phone, so I can always at lunch see what I had. Go ahead. These are the different things. That flower up there, it grows when you're more active. So it might be like 2 little leaves. And then when I'm there in my Zumba class, it will grow all the way to 12 leaves. And then guess what? I come back and I sit down at lunch, and then I start working again, and then it shrinks again. So it just constantly tells you how active you are and not. I just picked a normal, I think it was like last Tuesday. I set goals on mine apps, and mine is 10,000 steps. So when I go over 10,000 steps, it will send me this badge, and it will email it to me, text it to me, everything to tell me I've done over my daily steps. Same thing with the floors. But I have a house with two floors. 10 is pretty easy for me, but sometimes it's at 8. So then I probably need to bump it up. So I have mine set at 5 miles, that I should be traveling 5 miles a day. And 2,000 calories is what they say you should do. And then there's your active score saying what you should do. And they say anything over 650 is what you should be. And you don't really realize how active you are or unactive you are until you have one of these devices to show you really what you do all day. So these are actually the snippets of the last numbers that you see. And I can pull this up at any time, and it will tell you based on blue is when I was active, and how many, the first one is calories. So when you get to red is when it's a higher calorie burn or higher movement and stuff like that. Same here are my steps. You can see I worked out at lunch, and that was the highest that I went. Shows you from once you put it on in the morning, all day long that you keep it on, it just changes. And here are the times that I went up and down the stairs here, my house. And that's it for Fitbit.
All right, I'm Michael, Student Affairs again, and I'm going to talk to you about the Nike Fuel Band. I have it on right here. It also comes in black and another clear color. This is called their ice, so you can see the inside of the device. So if you want to look what it's like on the inside, you can ask me to show you later. So it is Nike Fuel, and what it does is pretty much everything that everyone else has said. However, the one big distinction is it doesn't take into account the calories that you consume. So the app doesn't have anything where it has what you burn, but not what you consume. So that one is one big disadvantage to this. But it's a fuel band, and a lot of people wonder, what is fuel? What does Nike determine as fuel? The funny thing is Nike won't tell you what they use to calibrate fuel. Beyond that, it's a motivating factor, and that everyone has the same baseline level of fuel. So it keeps everyone on an even playing field, no matter who you are. But I found a video to help you understand a little bit about what they say Nike Fuel is. And what it is not.
Can you count, suckers?
So that's what fuel is. And I hope it gives you a little better understanding of what it is. Fuel is just any movement that you do throughout the day. It'll count towards your overall goal. How does it work? You set a goal. So each day you can set a goal for yourself, and that's what you hope to achieve that day, obviously. One thing that Beth and I were talking about earlier is one thing that this program prevents you from doing, I'm not sure the other ones, is I can't change my goal midday. So if I see that I'm not going to reach my end goal, I can't change it to make sure I achieve that goal for the day. It only takes effect the next day. Nike says about 1,000 to 2,000 fuel points is an average day for an average person. 3,000 is you're moderately active, so that's something you want to strive for, so you're active more than the average person. If you reach about 5,000 fuel points, that means you've been extremely active, and they usually associate that with playing a sports game or some type of competition where you're that level of activity is that high. So what I do every day is I set a goal. I can see my progress by pushing the button. And at the bottom, there's an LED screen that shows me where I'm at towards reaching my goal. So this is an LED-based device, so I can see my fuel, my calories burned, the steps I've taken. It also services as a watch as well. So that's what it is there. If we can go to the next one, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about advantages. A big advantage to me is the brand. Brand recognition and loyalty is pretty big, and that's why I chose the Nike Fuel Band. That and the catchy kind of commercials that you see. That is the only reason why I chose the Fuel Band. No other reason, to be very honest with you. I put it on my wish list around Christmas time, and it was there. So that's how I got it. And the brand, definitely, the loyalty to it is what drew me to it. And additionally, what the Nike Fuel Band does, it syncs to other Nike-based apps. So there's a popular application, Nike Running, which is GPS-based and shows you how much you ran, what speed, how many calories you burned, and things like that. So they sync together with that. One thing that this is not is a GPS, but it does sync seamlessly with the Nike app, running app, so it saves battery life on it. So it doesn't use battery life tracking or GPS. It lets the app do that for you on your phone. It's Android and iPhone-based application, just so you know. It also helps you with your Xbox. If you have an Xbox with Kinect, Nike has come out with a line of video games or video-based products to get you moving, and this connects with your Connect system as well, so it tracks all your movement and activity that you do on that. And if you're a basketball player, they have a Nike Plus basketball app that tracks your entire game from how high you jump to all those kinds of things as well. And it all syncs again with this. So while this band doesn't do all those things, it syncs with all the Nike Plus applications all in one, so you don't have to do anything with that. It all kind of goes together. The social element is what I really liked about this as well. It's really easy to challenge your friends. Anyone else that has a Fuel band, you can connect with them on the phone, and you can see where they're at that day. So you can use that as either motivation, or you can use that as something to congratulate yourself with and brag about with your friends. So I like that. So it's app-based, but you can also sync to Twitter and Facebook. So a lot of social media, you can push out what you've been doing and see what your friends and stuff have been doing. And again, to mention, Fuel is the same for everyone, so you're in a level playing field. No matter who's your friend on the app, you all are earning the same kind of fuel, despite what you're doing. And statistics, similar to what my co-presenters have said, it will track how active you are throughout the day, no matter where you're at throughout your day. So I really like that about the app, and you can go back and see what your best day was, month, or year was to try to beat that, or go back and ask yourself, what were you doing that day, to see if you can replicate that kind of movement to get yourself just as active. One thing that it does not do is track your sleeping patterns like the others do. It just shows you as inactive. It doesn't tell you what kind of sleep cycle you've had or anything like that. It just shows you as inactive throughout that period. Some improvements, it's the student affairs side of me. I don't think there's a bad thing to this device, but I do think there's some improvements that can be made. One of them is the aesthetics. It's a pretty clunky device. You can't really wear a watch with it if you wanted to. I think they thought about that by putting the time on it, but some people do like a watch either way. It only comes in 3 colors, black, gray, or this clear color that you have. So there's really nothing else that you can go with as far as that's concerned. But I have read a lot of reviews about the aesthetics. It is still a polished look, so you can wear a black one and not really stand out in a professional setting if you wanted to. And finally, some functionality issues that I have with it. It only does those things that I said. It only tracks your calories, your movement, and your fuel. I think it could do a lot more, particularly with the Nike brand behind it. I would like if it could stream some kind of music through Bluetooth technology. And I also wish that they would incorporate some type of calories consumed function to it, and they have not yet. Speaking of, it is connected through Bluetooth, which we'll get into now with this next one, where we're kind of showing you all 3 side by side.
So we thought that we would compare it all for you just to lay it out there and see what it is between the Upfield Fit and Nike Fuel Band. So the cost, of course, some people are more conscious of their dollar versus others, and maybe that might be a motivator. Maybe it's not whatever the tool is. Maybe it's the money. Water resistance, they're all water resistance, although his can go in the shower. Can yours go in the shower?
I just learned today you shouldn't be in the shower with it, but I've been using it in the shower since I've gotten it.
So maybe not his, but his, you can definitely take a shower with it. We do have all the features, and like I said, you can figure out what works better for you, what's something that will motivate you to get you moving. And then Bluetooth compatible, it shows there.
So now we'll take any questions you might have.
Michael, I thought you said that your goals, you reset each day, or it automatically resets?
It'll automatically reset, but say if I made like 3,000 fuel points today and I'm going to bump it up, it would only take effect for the next day. So if I forgot to change it, so if today I reach 3,000, like tomorrow I'm going to do 4,000. If I don't change my goal today, it'll still be 3,000 tomorrow, because they don't allow you to manipulate your goal the day of, because you have the entire day to reach it, if that makes sense.
And Amanda, yours, as far as the goals are concerned, can you change it daily or?
Absolutely, you could change it daily, you could change it weekly. It's easier for me on my computer to do it, to go in and change it. It's a great product. You could change it all the time. I tend to leave it the same. 10,000 steps is what they're recommended, what you should be doing. So I haven't changed mine.
And then what about you, Ricky, on yours?
Same thing, you can change your goals whenever you like. I've never tried to change them in the middle of the day. I just sort of set it and figured I would leave it there, and if I want to change it, I would. But I know you can go into the app on your phone, you just pull it up, and you can change your goals whenever you like.
What is the material made on yours?
So this is, I've heard they say it's like a hypoallergenic type of rubber, I believe, but it's hypoallergenic. All the pieces are inside, so I believe it's a hypoallergenic. I think they say like medical grade rubber.
Have you had any measurement or reliability problems with any?
So with this, you can actually calibrate it to your steps. I'm not sure if the others do. So I think once you calibrate it to yourself, once it was calibrated, I haven't noticed that many issues. You know, if I have a GPS, like Nike running app that I might still use with this, they might be off by like a couple tenths of a mile or something at most, but for the most part, they seem to coincide pretty accurately once I calibrated it.
I think the best thing too is that if you decide that you want to use one of these products, go on and Google it and compare them. And you'll find hundreds and hundreds of blogs. I mean, I found them on all three of ours to see, you know, because mine is a waist and not a hand, it does make a difference. Because let's say you're holding groceries and you're walking like this, you're not going to get, you know, your steps aren't going to count. Versus, like mine, if I do this, this counts, I mean, this is counting a step versus like tapping my hand. So you need to like read and see what's something that will appeal to you more.
And they do say that if you're holding groceries, it will count your steps because it has an accelerometer in it, so it knows when you're moving, whether or not your arm is shaking. If I'm moving, it has an accelerometer, so it will count it.
Have you been able to tell if the sleep monitoring is accurate?
From what I look at, it seems pretty accurate. Like the one I had up there, I set it, and it knew it took me 52 minutes to go to sleep, which I'd say is fairly accurate because I set it, sent some emails, things like that. I do wake up quite a bit during the night, and it seems to track it for the most part fairly well. I doubt it's as accurate as a sleep tracking only device, but for the most part, I feel like it hits the times pretty accurately, and it seems to get the amount of times I wake up right and things like that. So at this point, I can't say that it doesn't work right for sleeping, in my experience. Talking about Frank.
Just looking at it from a cycling viewpoint, basically hands are on the steering, hands are on the handlebars and
Sure. And so I'll cycle as well, and within the app you can go and you can actually log a workout, and so you can just do cycling, the duration, and so then it'll update in your app for the amount of calories you've burned. It'll show your activity you did, how long, and you set the effort level. So it's anywhere from easy to, they say, gut busting. So there's a lot of different levels that you can set for your workout, and so that's how I will add in cycling or anything like that that I do.
So like when I do cycling, it will count as the steps that you're going and your little flower will grow. Sounds fun. Your little flower will grow, I have the option too to go in and say I cycled, this is what it is, but then it doubles because it's already counting that motion on this one, and it will double it because you're already moving and then you're adding in that certain workout.
I mean, there's nothing to say that I cycle versus weightlifting and things like that. It's all my movement throughout the day.
Do any of them track heart rate?
I know mine does not.
Mine does not.
Thank you.
Have you guys replaced yours?
I have. I had though, there's several versions of this, and I had the older version, and did replace it. What I did not mention about mine, not that mine's better than anybody else's, they have a scale that syncs to it as well. So those of you that are seriously serious about losing weight and tracking stuff, there's a scale and it's Bluetooth, and it holds up to 8 people, and you stand, and then you'll see it. Well, not 8 people at one time, but 8 people's tracking. And then it will graph you every time that you go on to, like, if you go down, if you go up, you know, and then hopefully you can go back and see what it is. But
I've not replaced mine. I've had it since early December, and I haven't had a need to replace it. So they actually came out with these like 2 or 3 years ago. If you start researching it on your own, you might see they actually had a total recall on the first edition they had. Like I said, 2 or 3 years ago, and they recently released it again. I'd say probably less than a year ago. They redid everything, so now it's it's tougher, it lasts longer, and so all the new reviews are much better. But if you see, oh, there was a recall that was old version, they recalled it all. I said for about a year they spent developing it again, and then they released it again.
So if you find one really cheap, it's probably one.
It might be an old one, but I know someone that had an old one and theirs worked, so who knows.
And I have replaced mine. I was out with my dog and there was some miscommunication between me and him and it got messed up. But I sent it into Nike and they replaced it. So I did have a black one originally. And then so I went with this one. So it was replaced by Nike.
Yeah, and mine was too. Mine was also replaced by Fitbit at no cost.
Will you comment on how it's influenced your health and activity level?
Sure. I guess for me, it's one of those things I look at it. So especially with the idle alert, like knowing, I've already been sitting at my desk for 45 minutes. Like I said, you can change that anywhere from 15 minutes to I think, a couple of hours. So you control your idle alert. But it gets me thinking like how much I'm actually sitting at my desk at a time. And it reminds me I need to get up, whether it's just walking down the hall or whatever it may be. And it's one of those things, my wife has one as well. And so, it keeps us both motivated. Like she's like, oh, I don't have enough steps today. Let's go for a run. Let's go for a walk. And so we're actively thinking about it now, whereas before, I think it was a little easier to be sort of sedentary. But now I'm like, oh, it's vibrating. I better do something. So.
I think mine was, I thought I would get it and then be unmotivated by it and just be one thing that I spent $100 on and it got pushed to the side. But I noticed that if I don't have at least my 10,000 steps, I'm there at night doing this, watching TV with my husband because I'm like right at 8,000 and I'm moving like this and then, I think you're consciously more aware of moving or maybe not sitting at your desk all day long, like getting up and like now I'll come downstairs, fill up my water bottle and go back up because I know it counts as my steps and my stairs. So definitely being more cognitive of like what I'm doing throughout the day. I think working out more because I want to beat myself. I am my own, I want to motivate myself. And if I'm at 7,000 steps, I want to do more tomorrow at this time. And,
Yeah, I would say the same, kind of what you both said. The motivation is there, the self-motivation. I see where I'm at, and it's either motivation to get more active or to congratulate myself, because some days I'll look at it and I'll already get my goal and have no idea that I was there. But more kind of what Amanda was hitting on, I like the competitive side to the fuel band, is because you can compete with your friends and anyone that has a fuel band to see where you're at. So I like that competitive edge, seeing my cousin beat me today, so I'm going to double it tomorrow kind of thing. So I use that. And I think the LED screen helps me too, because I see I'm just now getting into yellow. So it goes to red, yellow, green, and green's good. So I'm starting into yellow already, which is both motivating and kind of sad because it's 12:30 now and I'm about to get the rest of it in today. So there's things like that. But I think for all of us, it's the internal motivation because you see it. You're reminded of it. You can't really ignore it. When you set your goals and you don't need them. Because we're the only ones that set our goals. No one else sets our goals for us. These companies don't set their goals for you. It's all personal goals that we've set. So I think you had that buy-in initially because it was a goal you set, not someone else set for you.
So projecting 5 years from now, I'm just curious if you think you'll continue using this or you think your lifestyle will change so that you don't need it anymore as a reminder.
I think ideally I would like to continue to use it because this doesn't bother me throughout the day. I mean, it's on and it's just kind of secondary to what I'm doing. And at that point, you can continue to set your goals. So I would say in 5 years, my goals will look different from now, but I will still have a goal for that day that this will help me track.
I agree. I like these type of devices. I've never had one before, but I like the idea of them and actually being able to track what I do throughout the day. We'll have the same one in 5 years. It's probably something way, a lot better. So who knows if I'll have the same thing. But I like these type of devices. And like he said, any of my friends, I know 2 friends that went out and bought one a couple weeks ago. You can add them. And so I also like the competition side of things. And I think that's also another motivating factor at the same time.
Correct, I agree. I'm hoping I'm not wearing it, but there are days where I forget it, and I'm fine, and I can still do it and know more or less where I'll be. Like I said, I've had mine, I guess a year in May, so I've had mine for a long time, so I could have already put it off to the side already by now, but I enjoy knowing what's going on, how active I am, or what I need to do for myself to get moving more.
The only thing I was wondering is if you could print the logs off, because don't we have to do that for our insurance and lowering pay? Because I'm really not ready to get up and run stuff, but I don't want to do the logs. Don't we have to do the logs?
No, the logs. Yeah, you do, Leslie. Let me just clear that up. The logs is for the $300 that we draw every quarter. So if you want to win
use it for that?
$300, you can buy 3 of them and give to your
Now,
friends.
do you use it for that? I mean, is there like, can you print out like a log, like an Excel type, or whatever?
Yeah, well, you probably like do like a print screen, probably better than the waste of
Okay,
paper.
but it doesn't, okay.
Yeah, no, you can definitely do that. I'm sure on all of ours.
I never tried to print, but like she said, I'm sure, you print screen, send it to your email, print it out wherever. But I don't know if there's actual printing functionality built in. I haven't looked
I'm
into
just
it.
trying to have to do the paperwork.
I
Oh, you did? Oh,
You don't have to.
Let's just
Just
go
you.
Just you.
It's like writing it down every day.
So it sounds like yours has an app and a computer program?
It's, so you can
Like
log
an
online
internet
to do
site?
it. Right, so like at my laptop at home, I go on and I have a toggle where it, like my phone, I can go within 1,000 feet of it and it will read it. So anybody who comes to my house and has a Fitbit, it will automatically sync to my laptop. If you have a Fitbit on right now, it will sync to it will automatically update. And that's just how it works. So yeah, so you can do it on your computer. I can log onto it here at work and it will automatically sync.
Do the other two have that?
It's just mine's cell phones and smart, tablets. So my iPad, iPhone, whatever you have, but not actual computer.
Is there a website though, or no?
Up has its own website, but you can't track your own, functionality within the website. So it's strictly an app-based product.
Mine can. That's how I got all those print screens, was exactly off the website. And that's where you can modify your changes, as well as if you have any, an Android or iPhone product.
And the fuel band's app-based and web-based. You can access both.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you all very much for presenting.